Good morning, everyone. So, some days are just not good for adventuring outside, and today is one of those days. It's kind of rainy and crummy, and it's a good day to stay inside and have some hobby time. So, I have a lot of hobbies that I do. I like to do some hands-on type stuff and create things, and I do woodworking and wood turning. I've built models and I've even done some custom paint jobs on Nerf guns. I just started a brand new hobby last week along the same lines, and that is blacksmithing. I'm brand new to it. I've only been fooling around with it for about a week, and that's only because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't full of it before I turned the camera on. But I like it. It's a lot of fun. So we're gonna jump in. I'm gonna go over some of my tools and stuff to get started. Keep in mind that this is a hobby, so I don't want to invest a whole lot of money into it. And I'm just getting started, so my tools are definitely not adequate entirely for what I want to do in the future, but it's a good starting point and I want to show it to you. Let's come on over here. So let's start off with my anvil. Now, I'm sure everybody recognizes this anvil. This is a Harbor Freight cast iron anvil. I bought it for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted an anvil shaped object. I definitely wanted this hardy hole here. I've read all the reviews. I've watched all the YouTube videos. I knew it was a piece of junk when I bought it. I kind of figured that I could modify it to kind of make it work the way I wanted to. Only time will tell whether that was a good decision or not. But you can see right here, I have bolted on. I had to drill through and tap out holes for these bolts. And I've put on a mild steel plate to the top. If I get a few months use out of the mild steel, it's not that expensive and I can just change it out. So, ultimately, maybe it was a good investment, maybe it wasn't. We'll see how it works. There are definitely other options out there for anvil-like objects, and we'll probably end up making a couple of them along the way. So let's go on to my heat source, because we need some way to heat the steel. And for that, I've just been using a regular old propane torch. Now, this is okay if you're only heating up a small section of, at most, 1/4-inch steel. Anything bigger than that, and it's just not going to work. And this is what I've been doing so far. I have been making these steel hooks. I don't know if you can see that. There we go, that's better. And I've been making them out of horseshoe nails. And all we do is we pound out the head and then we give it a curl. And for doing that, the torch works perfectly fine. If we want to get into anything more, like I did start fooling around with a 1/4-inch piece of rod here. You can see I did a little scroll work, but the torch is really not adequate to heat up a large section or do any real work with it. So we're definitely going to have to build a forge fairly soon here. Let's get right into it, and I will show you how I make these hooks. All right, so getting started, I just have a pair of regular pliers here that seem to work well, and we're going to heat up. Can we see that? Yep. All right. We're going to heat up the head. This takes a little while because, like I said, the torch doesn't put out a whole lot of heat, and it's not really contained. It's just kind of blowing out into the air. But it will get it done eventually. We want to get this up to a decent bright orange color. That's about as hot as we can get the metal right now with this setup. And I think we're there. So we're going to put that down. Give that another heat. Try to hammer this out as flat as I can and as round as possible. You can see that. And that'll be the part that goes into the wall. Let that cool off for a minute. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this punch and I'm going to try to get it as close to centered as possible. And we punch a little hole, a little mark into the top of that, and that'll be where our drill bit is going to drill the hole for the screw. All right, that's cool enough. Let's take this over to the drill press. All right, so I have a drill bit chucked up here, and I made this little jig to hold the pieces, because the sharp point, you don't want your fingers near there, because if it catches, it's going to spin it around and rip your finger open. Ask me how I know that. So it's just 2 screws screwed into a block of wood, and it holds it just like that. And we're going to turn it on. And there you go. That's all there is to that. We'll just clean up the little rag here on the back. And now we're ready to start curling the point here, scrolling this tip and curling it into a hook. Alright, so after I've picked off any of the large pieces of rag on the back there, I like to take care of any of the other sharp edges just by putting it back on the anvil here, and that flattens down anything that was sticking up, and it's all smooth now. So we're going to flip this around. And we're going to put some heat to the tip. And once we get that tip nice and bright, we're going to grab it with some scrolling tongs and curl that around. And that gives us our nice little scroll on the tip. Now, something to mention here, I don't know if you can see the step down from where I was hitting it on the anvil. I like to put that in the front of the hook so that it lays flat against the wall when I'm done. And the scroll in the tip, you want that to turn away from there, because now we're going to bend this part up and this be sticking out so it won't catch on anything when people use it on their hooks. Now with the scrolling tongs again, we're just going to grab it down here at the bottom and start bending it into a pleasing hook shape. And that's it. I mean, basically, that's a hook. You can fiddle with it and put some decoration to it, which we're going to do. But if that's all you want to do, then that's a hook. That works perfectly fine. But we're going to put a little twist into the back part here for decoration. So we're going to do a 360-degree twist here, and we're going to start doing 180 on the top. Then I'm going to heat up the bottom and continue that twist. And I think that'll make it look a little bit more even twisted along the back end here. Okay, making sure that we continue twisting in the right direction. Bring that around. And that's it. I mean, take a look at it from all angles, make sure you're happy with it. Give it a little bend here, a little tweak there. I'm going to give this tip a little bit more curl in the hook. Give it another heat. You know, give it a good looking over. Make sure everything is lined up the way you want it. You know, like they say, the devil is in the details, and you don't want a crooked hook, especially if you're planning to sell these, which I am. And now we're going to give it a little brushing just to get any of the scale off. And we're going to put some finish on it. Now, I have here, this is just regular furniture wax, which will work perfectly fine. You can also use oils, beeswax, any number of finishes. Boiled linseed oil works well, from what I'm told. I haven't tried anything else except for this, so I can't say that I know 100% what I'm talking about, but this works well. And what you do is a little bit of a heat up. I want it to be a little warm. We're going to stick it down in here. Got an old toothbrush that we can spread some of that wax on there. And we want it, we like it to smoke just a hair, because that means that the wax is melting in to the steel, and we're getting a good protective coat on it. Not that I think you're going to be using these hooks for anything too dramatic outdoors, but it's still nice to protect it. And the final thing is we just give it a little wipe down with a rag. It's not too hot now. And there you have it. That is a completed, finished hook. So there you have it. I mean, that's what I've been working on. This is my very first project that I've been doing. I've been batching them out, so I have a whole bunch of ones that have been hooked and just need to get the twist put in the back end. When I'm finished, I should have, you know, around 100 or so hooks, which I plan to sell on Etsy. Hopefully I have the shop up and running. I'll put a link right here in the picture. If you're interested in hand-forged hooks, please come by, check it out. These are good. These are small hooks, so these are good for hanging pictures or like key ring hooks. You can put them onto projects, make little shelves, stick these hooks onto it. Later on, we'll probably make some bigger hooks, like coat hook size. I hope to work on some S hooks in the future. Small projects, just to get a feel for the blacksmithing and work on my tapering and my scrolling. And we're also going to get some more tools, get some better tools in here. I think the first thing we need to do is get a decent forge, and I'm going to start looking around and what the best way to do that is as cheaply as possible, because that's one of the key things with a hobby is you don't want it to cost a lot. At least not at first. I mean, if people want these and they start buying them, and I start bringing in a little cash off of these, then I can put that back to the hobby, and hopefully everything improves as we go along. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you can see all my future videos. And we'll be doing other hobby stuff, not just blacksmithing. We'll probably get some woodworking in and some wood turning eventually. If you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Either way, feedback is always good. So leave comments, give me likes. I'll take anything I can get right now. But get out in the shop. If you're interested in doing these things, then try it out for yourself. There's no substitute for going out and doing it on your own. And you'll learn a lot just by hitting that metal and finding out how it works. So, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.